Online. What's Rob doing?
He'll be right back.
He's handling a custodial issue.
All right, I give him a break.
I have a question on it. Yeah, what it was doing there. Okay.
No, really?
Everything's okay with Otis, right?
Yes.
Which elevator is this? The South High School?
2 at South and 2 at JM Hill, did it say? Or I
JGL.
forget where it said. JGL.
But you mean to tell me we waited with a defective elevator for almost a year and a half, right? Now they're telling us they're obsolete?
This is just, I mean, my question.
I don't know it. I don't know, fine.
I mean, like, how long are we waiting for a part
Parts that were requested.
and then they finally fix it and now they're saying, oh, by the way, it's obsolete. They couldn't have told us before we waited for the part and had it.
I don't know which elevators here they're talking about.
I
because
guess
they
you're
have
on
before.
it, so.
Well, we have some
No,
new.
we did.
But
We
the
did.
next elevators are
The
new.
elevator before was
One,
the major
two,
issue, that's the one that had all the
4,
hydraulic issues.
That was the newest one. That was in Maple.
elevator
Yes.
2.
That was brand, that was new to the building.
Yes, but because of the
Thank you.
water underneath
Yeah.
caused a hole.
You've been having.
It's amazing. The newer elevators are. Yeah, are worse than the older.
They're just as bad as
You
waste
give me-
management.
Just a little reading material when you get to the elevators. I'm gonna be.
Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amy, roll call.
President, we have Wayne Roner, Jason Goldstrand, George Andrews, and Keith Carter.
Approval of agenda and notes, motion to approve the minutes from the November 6, 2024 meeting along with the agenda for December 4th, 2024 with members of the committee reserving the right to add to the agenda and take further action in the best interests of the district.
So
Second.
Do we want to include the motion for the 2025 dates and times, Amy?
it's already on there. It's.
It is, but we still, Patricia said we still need to make a motion for even though nothing has changed.
So we'll do that at the
We
end.
added it to the agenda.
It's on there. It's the next one we're talking about.
Okay, I just want to add to the agenda for items requiring action. The fire sprinkler system at ESE to go out to bid.
Is that, are you making the motion or you want us to make the motion?
Well, I'd like to add that to the agenda, so I need a yay or nay.
I'll second that if you're
yeah.
making a motion for it, or I'll make the motion if you need me to make the motion.
Then I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Announcements by the committee. The next property facilities meeting is January 8, 2025. Items requiring action. Permission to put out the bid. Number 1 would be the North Stormwater Phase 3. Is Josh available?
Wait, before we go any further, don't we need to make a motion for the meeting, the minutes, the meetings?
The minutes from November.
Was that what we were supposed to do just a minute ago?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes. I mean, the meeting times as we have set already
Yes, correct.
to continue.
Yes.
So I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's good. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
It's the same, we're going the same time, right? Yes. We're not changing anything.
Nothing's changing. Same day, same time.
Okay. That's cool.
So, we're on items requiring action, permission to put out to bid the North Stormwater Phase 3. And ESE, fire
Storm Phase 3.
and fire sprinkler system repair. Is Josh available?
I think
He's
he's trying to get him on the phone.
With him right now. There it is.
I say,
Hey, guys, am I muted or can you hear me?
we hear
We
you.
can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, actually, we've already started the ESE sprinkler. I think we talked about that one a couple months ago. As far as the stormwater goes, I guess we would just need to identify what we're considering phase 3. So again, based on the initial camera investigation, we can make a recommendation for what we think would be the next priority area. And we can certainly continue that effort for next summer. But again, I would just, maybe for next meeting, I can bring forth the extent of what we're considering for phase 3. You guys can say, yeah, sounds good, and then we can get that out to bid.
Phase 2, we're okay with that?
No.
We're gonna be, we'll have that discussion on, as we
Oh.
go down through the agenda.
And then Josh, you said we're doing something with we are doing something with the ESC sprinkler system?
Yeah, the ESE sprinkler, the big question, Keith, was whether we were going to look at it as a repair project or a complete replacement. And we did get that confirmation a couple months ago that, given the conditions and given the findings, the district felt it was more appropriate to essentially replace that system entirely than trying to piece together, repairs, which may or may not ultimately be effective in getting the entire system up to snuff. So we've already started that process of getting that project started as far as the replacement of the entire system out there.
So you get the project started, we mean, you get the specs written for out to bid?
That's correct, yes.
Do we have to rewrite everything since it was already written when we put the building in? When we built the building? Don't we have those schematics and diagrams already?
Yes.
Yeah, we do have existing documentation, but there's obviously a new design professional. There are some other code related items that we need to be aware of. So, we're basically going to put it out to bid as if it were a new project or a replacement based on today's codes and today's standards.
When do we expect to go up to bid?
I'm sorry, was that George? I didn't hear.
When do we expect it to go up to bid?
Oh, in February.
Thank you.
Because we're shooting for summer of 2025, right?
Yeah, and based on the investigation and the report that we prepared previously for other issues, we were actually looking at a potential 2 summer project. In other words, maybe half the building in 2025, half in 2026, just given the extent of disturbance that it's going to have throughout the entire facility.
Okay.
And the north drainage system is not yet to be determined. We're going to do a bid for that, right?
Right. So for phase 3, we would just need to look at what we think the next priority stretches would be and try to keep it generally in line with the budget and the scope that we've been working with over the past 2 summers, just to make sure that we're not, overextending any budgetary restraints. I can bring forth that scope and estimated cost at the next meeting, just to make sure that we're, again, not going above and beyond any budgetary restrictions at this point.
Perfect. Okay. So you'll have some kind of a schematic, a plan.
Yeah, I'll highlight an aerial or a site plan with what we're proposing, what the total, linear footage is, and the associated estimate cost with that.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll go to B. Invoices, Resca HVAC replacement, an invoice for $4,569 and change. High School North Lehman rooftop equipment. An invoice for $7,142 and change. The High School South Fieldhouse equipment, an invoice for $738 and change. North Campus storm pipe replacement, an invoice for $2,637 and change. And the north mezzanine access. Josh, is this the natatorium roof area?
The access is actually for the HVAC mezzanine. That was the opening that was required on the exterior wall for that access. So that's separate from the change order that the finance committee reviewed and approved last month for the MUN portion, which would address the condensation issue. So this is a different area of that natatorium wall.
Okay. So discussion on those 5 items?
Guess we have to pay them, right? Invoices.
George, didn't you want to have a discussion on the storm pipe?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to find out what we were talking about. I just, the it's $200,000 or something like that for they're asking more. Why didn't they find all this extra stuff ahead of time? We went out for bid, now we're paying 50% more, or the same, we're gonna have to pay, they're wanna bill us 50% more for the project. And we're not, I just don't understand the big dollars, but.
Right. So these are, again, conditions that we're encountering as we're excavating and replacing that storm pipe. And in some cases, especially at the Lehman side of things, that storm pipe was, I think, in excess of 17 or 18 feet below ground. And we're finding piping conditions. Again, the camera investigation was good from an internal perspective, but we're also finding situations where the actual pipe diameter is different. We've seen storm pipes, maybe from roof drains, that are entering the pipes that were not indicated on the drawings anywhere, that we don't even know for sure where exactly they went, but we needed to reconnect them just to make sure that the system was whole. So unfortunately, George, I hear what you're saying, but until the areas are actually uncovered and under construction and excavated, it was impossible to understand all of the conditions that Rutledge is encountering as they're doing the replacement. So the cost proposal was approximately $160,000 in total of all the items that were uncovered and need to be addressed. As part of the contract, we had already accounted with the allowance for approximately $89,000 worth of unforeseen conditions or soil conditions maybe that would need to be accounted for. So ultimately, I agree, George. I hear you. It's a large number. The total number that would be coming towards the board for consideration as a change order is $71,765. So I recognize that is still a large number in the grand scheme of things, but given those situations and conditions up there that, as we know, have been uncovered and are not exactly what we thought they might be, there were just a lot of unforeseen conditions that needed to be dealt with once construction actually started.
You said there was originally 89,000 put in it, right? Or price,
Yes.
but then, so the change order to 122, roughly 123,000 and 79,000 or 80,000. So that's 200,000 more. And yet 89,000 in, so you were talking about 110,000 extra that we didn't see, right? Yeah, we didn't anticipate, or didn't put the money into anticipate, let's put it that way.
So when I looked at the costs, George, I had come up with $160,705 of monies that were requested as additional funds towards the project. What I'm saying is $89,000 we had through the allowance which was allocated for unforeseen conditions related to piping conditions and soil conditions, which can be applied towards that overall number.
I see over here, it says the letter stated, September is 122,906. And then on top of that, there's one for November that says an additional, 71,292. So that's almost 200,000, and we had 89 in it, so it's 100,000 more than what you anticipated. Or that we put the monies in for, that's all I'm saying. You're saying it's not that, I'm looking at the two letters, and 71 and 122, roughly 200,000.
That's right. So that is from the contractor's perspective, that is additional monies to the contract, correct? That they, was not indicated as.
Right, we put 89 in our, in the budget for it.
That's correct. Yes.
So we can find another $110,000 someplace.
As a change order, correct.
That's not budgeted, yeah.
I think, George, the problem is, and I'll put on the record just for the record, that we knew this was wrong since it was put in, and we're paying the price 20 plus years later. I hope we are documenting all this, right?
Yeah.
We're documenting everything that we're finding. So we can.
Yes, absolutely.
Any kind of wrongdoings that we have to, because we really got the shaft with this project when they put that in. And, the community, Larry Diamond was involved in that years ago when I was on the board last. We went up there with a pick and a shovel and tape measures, and they laughed at us, I remember. And it's coming to fruition. We were right.
And for the record, part of the change order, the school district, if I remember your comments in September, tried to do a repair around 2009. That's where all the extra concrete was dug up. Right? Correct?
That's right. Part of the change order request in order to access, the storm pipe was to chip out and remove the concrete encasement that had been placed around it in previous efforts to stop the leaking around the inlet and the piping that you guys were experiencing.
Okay. So there was an attempt around 2009, and I want to remind everybody that building was only 9 years old at the time. That opened in the year 2000. So we're still dealing with that issue. So at the end of the day, we need a change order for 194,000 plus. Correct? Now it says here that Rutledge is going to be completed by November 30th, and we're in December. Have they paved? What's the status of completing stage 2?
So they are to the point where they are final paved. I know that they were restoring the paved areas last week. I'd have to go back and check and see if they have completed everything at the end of this week. But the stormwater itself is back in place and together. And it's basically just a matter of restoring any final paving or seeded areas as part of that backfill process.
Are they still making asphalt?
Probably not. They paid already.
They did pave? Never mind. Any other discussion?
No.
Next item, applications for payment. High School South Fieldhouse equipment, that's Grant Electric. An invoice for $181,941. And Resica HVAC train for $55,954 and change. Josh, you wanna?
Yeah, so I told Scranton how upset Keith was last month that they weren't starting and they responded. So Keith, good for you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So anyway, they did receive all the equipment. The boilers and the water heater are down at the field house. They've been doing the piping related to those changes. So this is a progress payment for them. I know that I met Daryl down there last week. We were talking with Scranton about the overall project. Daryl, I don't know if you want to chime in with any other logistical questions or comments about that, but as far as the actual work execution, they are proceeding, and that is the payment request that is in front of you tonight.
We have hot water?
The new water heater should be complete tomorrow, and Josh, if I misspeak or anything, let me know. And something that came up, they're talking about, I'd like to bring up now is about a potential of a couple of weeks downtime because of the valves that we spoke about, Josh, with the boilers when they do them.
Yeah, so I guess, Daryl, if it's a case where we can maybe defer those replacements until the spring, until we're out of the cold season, we can look at that. If it's a extremely urgent problem where those valves are really failing and leaking, maybe it might have to be sooner, but I would say otherwise, if it's going to be a situation where they're changing other valves, other existing valves, let's maybe shoot for a later time frame after we're out of the heating season to do that.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
Can the wrestlers take showers now or no?
Yeah, the water heater should be complete tomorrow.
So
Should be.
So they now can start
Well,
finally.
we've been
Yeah,
fixing it
but do
daily.
you have any, I don't know if you spoke to anybody this evening or not, Josh, but that's what I'm told.
That's what I've heard as well. Yep.
All right, that's good. I mean, that's why we want this project to be done over the summer, so we wouldn't have this issue, but better late than never.
Okay, any other discussion? Next item is D, the 2025 summer north light upgrades. Is that for the
Where's that?
Where you talking?
Where are you?
Where you at?
well, it's Amy.
Huh?
She's
We
updated me.
We wanna add it to the agenda.
Well,
Okay.
you forgot train now.
That's on, what's,
We don't have, I don't have that.
Oh, they don't? I thought you.
Now, is this for the,
it's under 3 or under, or just,
no,
we haven't
they
gotten
haven't.
to 4 yet, right?
It just happened today.
You want to start talking about? Yeah.
Very confused.
It should be.
Okay.
We're still on,
or C,
we're still on
should be a
application
C.
of payment C.
We're
The
still on C, but
application for
we want,
payment?
we wanna add something to the agenda.
So I need to go back to that.
It's missing.
Okay, but what will fall under C or will fall under?
No, she went with D.
It's not an action item, it could be a discussion. If
No,
you
it
guys
is.
wanna, it could be a discussion, if you wanna make it an action item, just make a motion.
So if we understand,
So that,
This is garbage.
no, it should be the same as that.
so it will be under item 6, item for discussion.
It should be.
You could make a motion for either. It could
I-
be an
I-
action
I'm
item
just
or a
trying-
This
discussion
is where you're
item.
at
It
now,
doesn't
but
matter.
there's nothing.
No,
Yeah,
I
You could still make a motion for it.
Thank you.
So is this for? What's the north light upgrades? Is this for the auditorium?
It would be a similar project, that were just approved at JTL. Slightly different because it'd be for the high school north. Actually, Lehman and Bushkill Elementary also use that auditorium in there. It's a system that's over 25 years old. It's failing. It's a very similar situation there to JTL. So fresh off the heels of this, I had Sam from ESG come up there. We met with the stage director, Brian Borosh, and I. To look over this system and make the upgrades.
And you gave us a quote or something?
It's come, you're gonna have that in 2 minutes. I'm sorry, I thought it was already in your packet.
No.
It's coming.
All right. I have an auditorium lighting upgrade. Is this, or is this different?
You got that, I don't know that.
Yes, that's the lighting.
Yeah, I know that.
So,
I
So
don't have
is
that. It's, I don't. have it
so
in
I
mine.
want to make a motion to add 6D to the agenda for the North Campus auditorium lighting.
Wait, would that be 6? Yes.
6,
That'd be 6D, right?
6D.
D,
Do I have a motion?
yeah.
For discussion, correct?
Well, if we're gonna, I mean, we're in the budget season, so if we're gonna approve this,
We have to get a budget.
yeah, if we're gonna
It's
do
not-
it in the
it's not
summer,
budgeted.
But this would be a
I was gonna
capital
ask
project
about
for
that.
the summer.
This will be budget, this will be budget what?
you're shooting for the summer.
Yeah, it would be a summer,
2025.
yeah, it would be a summer capital, at a capital.
So, but it would have to be in the 20,
Maybe in the
Summer
24
25.
budget.
Yeah,
24.
This coming summer.
Oh, we don't have a budget in this yet, right?
we're working on it.
Or the 24, 25 budget's already been done.
It's done.
Yeah, but it's not in there.
That's what I'm saying, so we have to, it's not in the budget.
That's correct.
So
So,
we can't put it, so we have,
so we're doing action.
we have to find money,
because-
we're gonna have to also find the money to put it in the budget.
We already have it,
Or we have to do it in the next year's budget.
which is,
Which is July 2025.
Right.
Start the next year's budget.
correct.
So that's when it will happen. That's what
So
we're looking for.
Correct.
Well, that's all I was.
Yep, July 1st of 2025.
That's all I was asking, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's, thank you.
We're working
So
on the
you-
25-26 budget.
So you want to budget this for the 25-26?
Yeah, why not?
Well, no, I just want to make sure that we're not going to approve this to come out of twenty-four,
Yeah, that's why I was,
out of the capital reserve fund.
Well, that's an option, but. We're in the budget season.
for 25, 26.
That's
Do you want us to add it to our budget or is it, do you want it to come out of?
It doesn't really matter whether it's budgeted or comes out of capital
It
reserve.
comes out,
Still a general fund, I mean.
As
That's
long
all.
as long as we have it budgeted in there, so we know how much
So-
is going to be in capital reserve.
Well, I think if anything, it should go on the capital list of something that we'd like
It needs
to
to be-
address.
Needs to be
under,
done.
under 25, 26.
Yeah. We'll be adding.
If,
So. Where,
Jason,
this is the auditorium lighting for which building?
North Campus.
North.
Are we talking
It's in the high,
just the high school?
it's
or-
in the high school, but Lehman utilizes that.
Right.
it's the main
First to
auditorium,
elementary as well.
Okay,
it's the main auditorium for the whole North.
yeah, I just want to make sure that we're,
We gotta,
That wasn't done in 25 years. I thought that was done a couple times since it was.
My knowledge, that is original equipment. Brian, we just had to repair a rack up there recently with iTech. It's
I thought they had a couple things done up there. That was the whole purpose of getting JTL upgrades, since JTL was the only one that hadn't had anything since it was put in.
further, it's not what I was told.
any other discussion?
Now we go back to what the.
So-
application for payment.
Yeah, so this is, actually, we're talking about this before we went, so yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I think definitely for a project this size, we want to put it on our capital improvement plan.
Definitely.
Make sure it's on there that we know that.
And we really should look into the, Darryl, you gotta look into that, because I think they did do a major something up there. I'm not trying to hold anything back from any of our schools, but I mean, the JTL project has been talked about for 10 years. And we're finally getting to it. And I think that was what the reason why we're talking about, there were lights put in, there were lights fixed at the South High School. And I thought when the South High School was renovated, I thought they did the same thing up north at that time. I think they added them up north at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe I'm mistaken, but
Keith, I can dive in and get all that information for you and bring it back next month and let you know exactly where we stand.
all right. I
But
appreciate
what
it.
everything I observed up there was all dated and old technology
Okay.
and not, and, not the rich shit.
All right.
And this quote is good for how long? It's a
At
co-stars.
least 30 days for this CoStar's prevailing wage.
if we're just budgeting it, the bid wouldn't mean anything else, no. It would be, yeah, this would be for budget purposes,
Right.
for 25, 26. So we,
You won't have to bid because it's co-stars.
but I'd say the numbers are just,
I can.
are irrelevant.
It's the same company we're doing
It's just
JTL
a
with.
balance to put it. With 225 putting in with inflation, the 25, 26.
Okay, any other discussion on applications for payment?
Are we, did we talk about train? We approved that one?
What?
I'm looking at a train bill for 55,900.
Yeah.
We talked about that?
Wayne spoke about it and then it went right into the North Lights upgrade.
That's what I thought, okay, that's what I thought I heard, okay.
But
There
we can,
wasn't a discussion. for
It's
that.
it's payments.
Yeah.
I,
okay, next item on the agenda, 7 reports. Nothing from Lyman and Ash.
okay. Sit 4.
7A and then 7B is current capital projects. See attachment 7B1.
It's
Any
4,
discussion?
4B.
I had some to you earlier, what was not on the list that you said we had to put on this? Yeah.
Jason was talking about putting the auditorium lights on it.
That, yeah.
You want us to add the stormwater?
Yes.
That's the
Yeah,
note
that's-
I had.
Yes,
Stage
the
three.
stormwater, yeah, we're gonna add the stormwater on
Yeah,
it.
that's blank.
Yep, I made that note.
Okay,
And then add this on there too.
so we can track it.
You're on the current capital projects, right?
Yes,
I noticed that we still have on there the concession and the South Stadium renovations. And since we happen to have this lovely schematic in front of us now, can we discuss that for a minute or?
Sure.
Okay. This, I remember this is as far as we got, and I remember there was supposed to be a walkthrough and we were waiting on the HVAC and the boilers and everything get taken care of over at the field house.
Thank you.
This drawing that we got, was there anything more detailed of the layout of the building, the concession, what it might look like from Josh or anybody else of what it might be?
Jason,
Do we know?
nothing ever.
I know that, I
from
know
this
we
point,
kind of like,
yeah,
there
it
was
was
like a
kinda-
shift in,
The, 4.6 million and then that was it. Daryl started doing a great job with the upgrades in the field house, the
Right.
existing field house. The reason why I brought this today is because Wayne brought up in an email, looking at that pole barn as a concession stand, the
Right.
possibility of that. Because that was the bigger thing to take away the crowding in the stadium
well,
and
that
the
and-
access the community has to the team rooms and all that.
and the 120 toilets we would have needed to. put in
Yeah,
this.
so
We built an addition.
as far as we got was this little highlighted
Right,
square that I
yeah.
highlighted for you.
And I was wondering
with
if we ever got
storage and
anything
stuff like
more
that.
that would be drawn out to show the layout of the concession and what the building actually might look like and so we can kind of move forward.
We didn't get that far because it was
Okay.
just, we didn't. get
Yeah,
any
and the biggest
direction.
concern at the time was making sure the boilers were replaced. and the
Yes,
HVAC was
yeah,
taken
exactly.
care
There
of.
were bigger
Right.
fish to fry, but if this
Right,
is
right.
something that is going to be looked at, then we would need direction from the committee and the board to say, okay, we want to look into this further.
Yeah, I mean, is
far
that
as-
something that Josh or you or whomever would need to draw up to show what?
I also think, I mean, this paper is dated January 4th, 2023, so
Yeah.
also I think it's, if that's the only thing that's being looked at is that pole building, it would obviously need to be looked at as a fresher estimate as far as the number.
Right,
we also,
Good.
Also have to put it in the budget if we're gonna do it.
Yes,
Well,
and
it's
also
in there.
looking at it, yeah,
It's in
it's
the-
on the
it's on
capital
the
list.
capital improvement list.
So let's-
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that the biggest issue last time where we were was, actually putting in a built structure. And having to move the facilities outside and it was ridiculous in price. And so.
Yes,
that's where
and
we
then
went
this
with.
here was after that, this
Right.
piece of paper was looking at a complete remodel and restructuring. And now, but that's why I highlighted that portion up top.
Yep.
Was because that would be that's a rough estimate of the pole building, because I'm sure there's because we're not
Increased,
doing the
right.
whole thing, there's gonna have to be changes for heating and ventilation and
Of
stuff
course.
for just the pole building and then things like that, so.
Yeah, so if we can get an idea of what it would look like and how it would lay out, I mean, I know we have the one drawing up there, or the one picture up there, but that would be. Like I said, I know we had to put it on hold for a little bit to take care of some other things, and then things happened.
Jason, are you looking at the 26-27
Uh,
school year?
I think it's on the where is it at here?
High school stadium upgrades, is that where you're at? What are you looking at?
I saw,
What year, what column?
it might be 24-25. High school stadium walls, 24-25. I know it's on here somewhere. Might have gotten pushed back even further into the years.
Well, on the
It's
second,
always been on here.
on the second page on 26-27, there's high school South Stadium upgrades.
Maybe that's where it got pushed to now.
But to continue the discussion,
Yeah.
I put it on there is because I'm aware of Pocono Mountain West. How much are they spending on that beautiful facility?
I know, that's a massive facility they're putting in.
Love to see the info on that.
Right. We probably talked to them on Monday.
Yeah, you have an
Let's see,
insight. You can get the insights.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd love to know, like I said, I'd love to know what it's gonna look like, how it's gonna be laid out.
It looks really nice.
That. Because that schematic that you gave us with the original concession stand and the facilities and so on was nice, but I don't think it actually, with the amount of money that we were spending, it didn't really do the function of what we wanted with having storage for grounds as well. I mean, I think that's one of the other reasons why we want to go with the pole barn setup, because it provides more storage and so on, whereas the other one provided very small amounts for the amount of money. I think it wasn't worthwhile.
And just to make sure I understand, so Wayne, you're saying about this Pocono Mountain West, now you said something about the funding from possibly, what would you say, St. Luke's or something?
Yeah,
St. Luke's Fund?
yeah, I was informed St. Luke's really,
Because if we bring that aspect into it, then I'm sure they're gonna want some sort of, not input on the design, but as far as the, I mean, I don't really deal with this whole St. Luke's funding part of it, so.
They typically
might-
just want branding.
Yeah, exactly, so that might be
Beyond
something
that,
that
they-
has to,
Yeah, so that's something like Peter and I
Yeah.
would sit down and have conversations with and negotiate out and talk about kind
You
of
have two
what
people.
they're willing to share,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Or what they're willing to
Yeah.
donate as like capital improvement.
but
Yeah,
as
so-
far as for the sake of this meeting, we're getting the direction from you to kind of draw up what it would. What a building.
Because we already have the other drawings for what
Yeah,
the
and
other
we-
setup would be.
And we're looking at 25, 26 versus 26, 27.
It looks like it's in 26, 27.
That's what I'm saying. Are we trying to move it up a year?
well, it's hard to
I would.
speculate on.
Well, it's not budgeted now, so that's why I would say, if we're gonna do it, we have to put it in this budget.
Jason, wasn't the problem with this whole renovation project in the first place? There was a discrepancy in what we thought and what the borough expected of bathrooms?
Yeah, and that, I think Josh would know best. I remember it was something like, we had to add like 50-something bathrooms, or you guys?
Yeah, so
Building code compliance.
so the bathrooms are related to the capacity of the stadium, and in many cases, I won't say all, but almost all, we've been successful in going to the zoning board or to the planning commission, whoever it is at the borough, and say, hey, most of our events are not going to be attended at full capacity. Can you please give us some relief on the bathroom fixture count? And in almost all cases, the governing authority is okay with that. So we plan for the worst case scenario, assuming that there would be no relief, but there was never really a formal request made to the borough as far as how many fixtures do we need.
Right.
So the other thing I will say is that Pocono Mountain, as part of that building, they included an auxiliary gymnasium, which essentially includes a full-size basketball court. So I don't know that, budget wise or scope wise, that would be a good indicator of what, obviously East Stroudsburg would be looking at from a cost perspective. But just some food for thought that if we're getting serious about the bathrooms and everything, I think it's worth a conversation with the borough in terms of what kind of relief can you give us with count of fixtures that are required.
I mean, if that's the case, I remember the schematics that we originally drew up about, rerouting people to go use the facilities inside the existing field house. And for people who had, say, issues walking and so on, I mean, we had them walking down the ramp, walking down to here, and then entering into the wrestling room, and then walking all the way back up again, instead of just coming right down the ramp from the inside, because the whole point was to shut that whole inside off. And that still, to me, presents a problem for individuals who might have a difficulty getting in. Whereas if we had one facility that was all encompassing as opposed to having to walk around. I mean, I guess it's like 6 of one, half dozen the other, because you got to walk all the way down there anyway. So, and it's,
With all due respect, if we don't know if we're gonna get anything from St. Luke's, can we even be talking about this right now?
what's
Like,
that?
I mean, like, it's in the budget, right? It's in the
Yeah.
capital improvement budget, but we have a lot of stuff we've added to the improvement budget since then.
Well, we're in the early stages of developing
Alright.
Yeah, this
what
was,
that budget will look like
this has been in the budget since, oh my gosh,
3-4 years ago.
Yeah, even further. It just keeps getting pushed on and pushed on, and.
Well, that's why I added it to the agenda.
And especially now, I mean, you definitely want to, I know, Chief Mills mentions, more and more so the congestion during football games, and you want to keep that area as clear as possible. And so now, and that was the biggest thing moving forward was the safety aspect of it, instead of having everybody packed into that one spot. So. I definitely would love to see the layout of what that pole barn and how that would be set up and what it would look like. Because obviously that's the most financially prudent way to go. And then just figuring out a way to reroute people into those existing facilities that we have for bathrooms.
Any other discussion?
Thanks for bringing that up, Wayne.
Current capital payments, 6, see attachment 7C1. Any discussion? Okay, old business. Section 8. Project updates, North Stormwater. We essentially had that discussion earlier. Anyone else want to add to that? Number 2 is the natatorium leak. Where do we stand with that, Josh, with respect to the change order with MUN?
So
we approved last month.
Yeah, we informed MUN right after that finance meeting and the formal board meeting that it was approved. They are getting the materials ordered and delivered. I think the longest lead time were the insulation for the interior wall, but they will be starting that work over the next month or so to get that wall reconstructed.
Okay. 8A3 is the South Stadium boiler water heater. We've had that discussion. Any other comments? Hearing none. Number 4 is the North generator. Status is, where do we stand on that?
So also part of our discussion last month was about whether the district would purchase or lease the tank. The determination would be that tank would be purchased from Sharp Energy. So at this point, we're just laying out the tank and the components, and Albarell Electric and their excavator will be starting with the excavation for the pad and for any piping that's going from the generator location to the tank location. So that is also in progress.
And when are they gonna start, Josh?
Well, as long as the weather cooperates, they'll be starting before the end of the year.
Okay,
So when is the projected completion? We don't have one.
sometime in 2025, winter.
And when we need it the most. Alright.
Next item is North Break Room. Is this is this the studio? What's the North Break Room?
I'm assuming, Wayne, that this is the Transportation Operations Center at the North Bus
Garage.
site. So that is underway as far as the design goes. I did circulate a questionnaire that Daryl and I will be going through along with the transportation department just to confirm some specifics related to systems involving HVAC and data counts and that kind of stuff. But that is also underway. That is slated to begin in the summer of 25.
What is the play in that project? That's gonna be almost over a year that we did this thing with the bus garage that we complained that you closed down the bus, we made a modification to put that in, so we can't use the bus garage the way it should be, and we're gonna do the job in the summer of 25.
That's right.
Makes no sense. Sorry about my comment on that, but it doesn't, we know we're not utilizing the bus garage properly, right? Or are we now utilizing it properly?
I think it's the same as it has been. It's-
They're not doing it.
And we've been discussing this for 6 months. And we're now saying it's gonna be July of the next year of 25. And this was supposed to be a rush project because we had people that are out of position. And that we can't use the bus garage like it's supposed to, and you're saying it's 2025. Makes absolutely no sense to me, but that's okay. I said my piece.
So what can we do in the meantime to fix this? Because this, like George said, this is an issue where our employees have no break room. And I mean, it's no,
Well, they do.
It's a,
they
We don't-
don't.
it's a makeshift.
We don't have the garage.
It's a
It is
makeshift, it's a
yeah,
makeshift.
it is a-
Makeshift space.
Do we need to get a like a trailer building up there? A temporary trailer building up there to give them something?
So Keith, I mean, that was one of the first questions we had is a modular trailer, even as a permanent solution, an option? And the
That one,
decision,
I don't remember that.
What was that? I
I
don't
remember
remember
that being
being
a
offered.
permanent solution.
It's just frustrating because, you know, that is one of our departments. We have a
Issue.
hard time keeping people working for us.
Bus drive, yeah.
And if we're not giving them great conditions, like, just put something up there. I
Well, we
mean,
were proposing a pole barn structure, right? No? What were we proposing?
no, I mean, what we are designing is a masonry structure with a sloped metal roof to mimic the roof of the adjacent garage. I mean, we had, provided sort of a schematic or design
Yeah, I
concept
remember.
a while ago. I mean, we're talking about a building that is going to interfere with the operations of the parking lot. That's why we were looking at a summer timeframe for implementation, unless we're, severely impacting the ability for buses to pull out and pull into the lot. So, by the time that,
Designed yet, right? We don't have it
No,
even
we have
designed
one.
yet.
what's that, George? I'm sorry.
Do you have the building to even designed yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
it
design
was,
was
it
brought
was,
to
the
the.
design was brought to us months ago.
So the,
Correct, but we have the location and we've got the size and we've got where the utilities need to go, and all of that could not have happened a year ago in the summertime to get it installed. It just, by the time it was designed and bid, it just would not have happened. So that's why, without interfering throughout the school year with bus traffic and bus parking, it's essentially going to be a summer, time frame for the construction of it.
Just to clarify, they have a space right now?
They do.
So what they have is they have a temporary space, and that's what it was explained.
In the garage.
when this came up, a temporary space in the garage, but it prohibits buses from being able to be worked on with the door closed in the garage. Because the lounge has been moved into the garage temporarily. So they have temporary space. The only issue is that buses aren't able to be worked on in the garage
when it's
with the
being
door
used.
closed in the winter.
Okay.
So that is
And we're
why.
not in there.
So it is a temporary going to, I don't know if it's supposed to be temporary,
Yeah, it's
obviously,
No,
but
but we're now, we're
It's
now in the
that-
But
winter,
now winter.
and we're now in the winter. And
yeah, I mean, they have temporary.
So if you went to work on the bus. you have to
They're
work
not,
on it.
but I can't speak for transportation, but I can tell you that they are not working on buses up north during the winter because of this issue.
I'm sure
Like, they're
they're
working on outside, they're not keeping the door open and letting.
I wouldn't, I
And
would hope
keeping
not.
everyone cold, so they're warm, they're in there, they're in the lounge, the temporary
No.
lounge.
They can't be in this.
So
You're talking the drive, you're talking the driver.
the drive, yeah, the
No,
lounge.
it's
just
the
happened.
way.
Right.
And then we found out about it.
And the mechanics aren't
It wasn't
doing anything on the
mistake.
buses because they can't get them in, they can't close the door. So are we bringing,
I mean,
are we bringing the
I'm
buses
sure other
down to
people knew about it.
the,
I can't answer that, I don't know enough.
I have to
about
ask- we have to
the
ask-
workings of
I guess we'd have to ask, the mayors if, they're bringing the buses down to the.
So,
Well, they have to be.
so can I ask a silly question? If we wanted a modular, how long would that take to get in place? For the winter, so that they could work on the buses at the north lot and not bringing it down here?
It just,
Josh, do you
That's a
know how
Josh
long it would
question.
take to get a
Right,
modular?
like,
'Cause
so
I'm
like-
not-
Well, so I think it depends on what type of amenities you're looking for with the modular. If you're looking for a plumbed bathroom, that could be a different story than if you're just looking for something that you essentially, bring in on a trailer and you park it and it's a space for them to sit, but not necessarily go to the bathroom or wash their hands or, that type of thing could be fairly quick. But if you're looking for something with a bathroom, sanitary connection and plumbing connection, that could be an extended time where it's going to be after winter anyway.
That shouldn't be a big, you bring one, a unit in with a bathroom, and you just run, plumbing it at the, I'm sure in the, garage, that you just run the water to the water in the bathroom plumbing to the, modular. It should not take a long, if you want to go modular, I don't think it should take a lot of time. Personally, I could be wrong.
George, I don't disagree. The original conversation we had, though, is that the district was looking for a quote unquote permanent solution, nothing that would be a modular.
but we're trying to, but the temporary situation is longer than temporary right now. I mean, the temporary situation is gonna be almost a year before we even consider what we're doing. That's the issue. It's not temporary anymore.
And
I'm
I
not-
understand, but I guess what they're saying is that if they started the construction, it would impact,
Yeah, all the
The operation.
logistics up there.
so they can't start it. And Josh, by the way, I'm Maggie, nice to meet you.
Hi, Maggie.
If they started it, we don't want it to impact operations, so
Yeah,
that's
no.
why. But if we could get a modular in there, and I have no idea the cost of one, so this is all very new territory for me. But a non-plumbed, what would the cost be for 6 months?
So I can get that. If you're looking for a leased solution, I can certainly get you numbers for the next meeting. And I hate to recommend it at this point, but I mean, would the district even be agreeable to a long-term, quote unquote, permanent solution with some type of modular or, trailer building? I don't think it would be, from an end user standpoint, not much different than a permanently built building up there anyway. I don't know what the arrangement is with, south versus north and parity and all that kind of stuff, but I think even if it's a double wide trailer that would provide, I think, plenty of space for the occupants, for the staff up there, again, might be a worthwhile thing to look into from both a cost and timing perspective, if the district is agreeable to considering that a permanent solution for your staff. I don't want to, assume that, that one solution is better than the other. But I think if you're looking at timing and cost, some type of modular solution might be the way to go.
What would be the differential in cost?
I think it would be substantial. Again, we're talking about digging concrete footings and building masonry walls and a metal roof. I mean, we're talking about building a mini building up there where a trailer might be appropriate for what you need. I mean, if we're looking for a clean, safe, air quality is fine solution, then I think it's worthwhile to reconsider maybe just going with some type of trailer solution.
Could Peter get us that information on the trailer by our finance meeting next week? Or do you want
Well,
to tell us
what-
again?
Peter wouldn't get it, they would get us the
Okay,
cost.
could you get it? We have a finance meeting next week.
Yes.
Could you have the price, could you get the pricing of the trailer by next week?
I could, so it would have to be probably on state contract. I don't know that obviously we'd have, any bid numbers clearly, but I could at least get you a budgetary number for next week for, again, a trailer solution.
And I wanna be clear, we're not talking about the temporary trailer solution for construction in June. We're talking about the double wide as the permanent solution for the bus garage.
And how many, do you know how many drivers we have?
I don't.
And obviously comparable to what the drawings are now.
Right.
Nothing.
So-
Do we still have
Accoutrements.
What,
we still have two dispatchers up there working?
As far as I know.
Okay, Josh, if you could get us those numbers, that would be helpful.
I will. What I'd also like to do is just speak with Lehman Township just to make sure that they are okay with a, quote unquote, trailer being a permanent structure. I'm sure that there are foundation details that we would need to work out with them in order to make it considered a permanent structure. So I just want to make sure that the township is agreeable to that as a long-term permanent solution before we get, too far along with this. But I can certainly get you some budgetary numbers for next week.
And then you'll reach out to Lehman?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Items for discussion, section 9. North Campus Stormwater additional work, that's for the change order that was discussed earlier for the 194, 198 and change. Any additional discussion on that? Hearing none. 9B is Otis install new solid state starters to 4 elevators for South and JM Hill for $30,404. See attachment 9B1.
This was recommended by the serviceman from Otis Elevator.
That's weird.
No. It's 6B1.
So there's two different,
6B1.
hold on a second. There's
Two different agendas.
I don't know where you got that.
Which is confusing me, and perhaps I'm just not smart enough to follow it along. So the one on board docs, I have that we're on 6 items for
We're on
discussion.
6 on Word docs.
Right,
Yes, that's what I'm, 6, it's 6B1 on Word doc. Otis installed new solid state starters for elevators. And it's 6B1 is what it is.
Okay,
George and I are following.
well, you're using,
We're using.
We're gonna have to have a
We're-
discussion.
We're using Word docs. That's what we're
So-
supposed to use.
what we did is we recently changed the format of an agenda.
Right, the board docs.
And, but it's not easy to follow. It's very wordy.
Okay,
So the old one is more of an outline.
so who does that?
This is, Amy.
So I think this was my email to you. So we do both.
Well, so to my knowledge, every committee starts out with this kind of agenda, emails it to Patricia. She copies and pastes it and puts it on board docs. That's all she does from this agenda.
So then you send that agenda, you send your.
I
word
send
to-
this agenda that we always use
Okay.
to Patricia. And she copies and pastes it and put it on Word docs.
We didn't know that,
Okay,
so.
so like, how did Wayne get that copy of? Okay,
Because he likes to have a copy of it at each meeting, so I do it.
and this doesn't work for you.
No.
And that doesn't follow what
But that doesn't follow.
This-
Well, I didn't know that.
this
I
document
think
has.
the only reason is today because Patricia added the motion so that we're like one less of a motion on mine. Because she put, we had to put a motion for 2025 dates. So I feel like we're askew.
Yeah, but if you're using the word docs, we can't, we're not following, that's why
I mean, they're on 9, I'm on 6.
I'm on 6, yeah.
So it's not like we're 1 off with the motion, we're 3 off.
It's.
We
We
will,
also, right, so, and then we also added, we also added our own things at this meeting, 2 more things to the agenda. So then that would be why we're off 3.
That she put on his and updated his.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
updated his.
So when I do
But
my.
more docs wasn't updated.
Okay.
I'm.
It's something you.
This is our second method. This is our second
I
method.
told you to mine, it's completely fine.
Yeah, the board docs?
No.
This is our second
regular.
I don't, I only. I'm sorry,
Right.
it's like-
It's still making.
Yeah, but. These things we've been going through.
I
We
apologize.
we don't have. I don't have any of these things that you.
No, I don't have,
Neither do I.
neither do I.
Yeah.
And it,
Which is.
but it should be,
So we need
so,
to be consistent.
so whatever's
Well, it
on
needs to be
this should
presented.
be board doc.
Yes.
And
Like,
it will be by Friday, yes,
okay,
But
because I'm not here tomorrow.
Friday.
So because we've added things today, after this has already been submitted and sent out by Patricia. We just added it today, not knowing it, those 2 items that we didn't know that was going to be added.
okay,
So now on Friday, our 2 items that we added, Patricia will add it to the board, to the agenda on board docs.
okay,
But she has to wait until I send my email and my motions.
okay. All right, sorry.
So
No, it's
do we
very-
need, as a committee, do we need to get the copy that you
Confusing.
have?
Well, I was told that I wasn't allowed to give it to you guys, but Wayne wanted to have it,
Wait,
so I
wait,
gave
wait,
him a
wait,
copy.
wait, who?
We will-
I don't know who told you.
We'll clean it up.
We will,
If we're wrong-
we will internally clean this up
Okay.
and it'll be much clearer next
Yes.
month.
Yes, we have a new
So we
sheriff
can
in
do-
town, so we're gonna listen to what she
So only day
says.
2.
That's right.
Wait a minute.
Please wait to day 2.5.
Any other discussion?
About Otis. We didn't.
Yeah, we
talk
really
about
haven't
it.
had any discussion on this
We got sidetracked by the not.
agenda. Yeah.
So
Daryl, you want to give us a,
Well, I gave you that paper kind of explaining it. This would be an upgrade on the starters to protect the rest of our elevator system.
Okay.
The current, the starters we have are obsolete. At some point, we wanted to be able to get parts for. They could damage the rest of the elevators by surging too much power to the rest of the system. This would be the upgrade on.
1, 2, 4.
2 went south and 2 went
Four-
J and
3
L.
at South and 1 at JM Hill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would be it would be for all of those.
and that would happen this fiscal year?
That would happen potentially if this goes through tonight over the, they could do it as soon as they can get in there and work on it. They're prepared to go over the break, but I don't know that we can get it turned around that quickly.
Let me, does this one include the, I don't know the number, bays.
Number 4,
Does this include the one that always gives you the,
yes,
okay, so how is that one holding up? Because we just fixed that, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago?
yeah.
Not even that long ago. Because that was a big chunk of money that
It was.
cost quite a bit of money to have them fix it. And I know you were having issues
The
Not
issue,
long after,
the
yeah.
issues that we had repaired were the cylinders, the
Yeah.
hydraulic system in that. This would be on the electrical side.
Right,
We did have issues that continued after those repairs were
Right.
done. We held Otis to it. They came back, made further extensive repairs to correct it.
Okay.
At no charge to the district,
very good.
to finish that.
That was August, September of this year, right?
Yeah, just recently,
Yeah. Yeah, before the school year.
even though, not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on Otis?
Otis's quote says that we have to pay them in full and then they'll start their report.
Oh, and that was the other thing. They have, because I know the issue,
It's 100% down.
Yes, correct.
I know the other issue with Otis was that, we moved immediately, but then they took they had an issue getting the specific parts and it took a significant amount of time. Are they good? They have everything, they're
That
good
was
to go?
related to a large cylinder.
Right,
stuff
yeah,
As
yeah.
well, like, again, I can confirm.
As long
that.
as they have everything and ready to go, 'cause
I-
that's what we thought last time, and it ended up being like months and months and months we waited for them.
They state here that they could do the work over the Christmas holidays, assuming they.
Perfect.
Or over break, it doesn't.
Okay.
specifically say. Oh, they didn't specify.
That quick?
They didn't
That's great,
specify
yeah,
what
that's why.
break.
Right, I said that.
So, okay, so I'm gonna shut up now.
So we'll make that payment before.
Are you worried
before
about
we-
us holding you to that?
He's gonna be.
After
break.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, the next item for discussion is the North Studio alterations. I added this to the agenda because I was getting feedback from the staff that the lounge is being divided. And so I'm not familiar with the layout, but if there was multiple bathrooms, the staff now only has one bathroom. So I was interested in being somewhat proactive, seeing what we were proposing so that we didn't generate another north bus garage scenario where we turned a lounge into a non-functional space. So that's why this is on the agenda.
Say it again. So in North Studio, you're talking about a faculty?
Classroom.
A classroom.
Is this the room that you're going to use for like the newsroom and all?
Yeah, I believe so.
So like all schools have a media room.
Yeah,
We attempted to get into it, and as Mr. Brenneman tried to enter the studio, so I spent 4 hours up at North today. As he tried to enter it, his key broke in the door. So it's the only room I wasn't into.
I wonder if it broke.
It's a
on
sign.
purpose.
It's a
If that-
sign.
That's the teaching lounge now. Why are they need that lounge when they should have already had a studio?
There's a lounge upstairs. There's a
No, but
beautiful.
the question is, why do they need this particular room for, I don't know either. If they already have, if every school, if JTL, Lehman, High School South and North all are all supposed to have newsrooms, if you want to call them that,
But
where they
we,
do the daily
Right.
update.
I'm not.
Well, where is it, and you're saying, Wayne, they're taking a lounge. What are they using now? Or don't they, if they don't have one, they should have had one a long time.
Let me talk to Mr. Brenneman and find out exactly what's happening.
It,
'cause it's the
and
only
George,
space I wasn't
and,
into.
and most of the studios are part of the classrooms, and like JTL, it's part of
Oh,
the
okay,
library classroom.
Yes.
well, then they should have,
Specifically for that though,
okay, they should have that up north.
and like at ESC, it's upstairs in a classroom that was an extra
Well,
classroom.
they should have already have that.
Well, maybe
in-
there's a
in,
better
North.
Well, I thought they had one.
Right,
That's
yeah,
why-
let me,
yeah.
let me dig into
When
it.
we, yeah, no,
Didn't we
I-
just put
Keith-
equipment up there?
I thought we thought.
I don't know any of these answers.
Yes,
We
I
just-
just, it's all new.
'Cause you couldn't get in the room.
Get upset.
I know it's not the right thing, it's not
Let me
something.
look
like-
Strands. And I have no idea, we have no idea.
It's by the
We
ISS.
already installed the equipment. Didn't we already install all this brand new equipment in that studio? Okay,
Hold
I'll.
on.
Yeah, I was gonna
We're
say,
not-
we-
We actually don't know if it's a problem.
No, okay.
So
Thanks.
let me
Okay.
dig in, and next month we'll come back with some answers.
A simple schematic. Freehand,
I guess we need two Maggie.
One is more than.
that's all we need. A simple schematic. I just wanna, I just don't want another bus garage. That's all. If there's other options, which I believe there could be.
Alright, let me look into it before we get any ruffles.
Okay,
Public comment.
we are at public participation. So,
Thing that we discussed tonight. Once you go, look at it, understand it, there's no way you can fix it.
What are we
So
speaking of?
somebody needs to go and look at it, find out what's really going wrong and what needs to be done. You can't do it sitting in a rain like this.
you're referring to, the studio?
The studio, the bus garage part of it. Whole line yard.
Well, we've already, you've been here. We've had discussions on the proposed addition for the, bus driver lounge.
But you don't know how many square feet you need for it, you don't know how many people are, utilize it in the morning and the afternoon, whatever. You gotta have those details for your. That should be actually in the current building spec that you had, that Josh had. What they built was substandard from day one. Well, that's not.
Most of us are aware.
So,
Most of us are aware of that.
15 years.
Well, actually 24 since we opened it in 2000. No problem. I just want to keep you current. All right, let's go to motions. We already did a motion for the 2025 dates, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So items requiring action. We want to make a motion to move forward with the North Stormwater Phase 3 for preliminary planning. We want to go to bid on the East Stroudsburg Elementary Fire Sprinkler System. We have a motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to recommend payment of invoices number 1 through 5.
Where's one, let me see your.
Should I be going off of this one now?
Sheet here. Well, these are Dewey invoices, okay.
Those are all Dewey,
Is that
Well.
1 through 5?
LC.
Well, that's why he's
Yeah,
using
one
lines
through five,
instead
you're
of
right.
A's and B's.
So we have a motion.
Or the numbers.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to recommend payment to contractors, numbers 1 through 2.
That's for the HVAC and.
That's the Fieldhouse Equipment, Scranton Electric, and Train for Resica.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion to recommend summer of 2025, the North Campus light upgrades.
No,
No,
What do you, no, we're gonna put that on the, we're gonna.
we
put
need
that on the
more
capital.
information
We
on
need
that.
more information on.
okay. We're gonna table that. But we'll put that on the agenda for the next month. Old business. Nothing to do there.
Did we,
Okay,
did we,
have to-
No,
Did we
that at
move
the last
Otis?
meeting.
Okay,
did we move Otis forward to finance?
Right, do you wanna make a motion? We made a motion for the Rutledge excavating, are you doing that? Together,
That's the next item.
okay.
Okay.
and then-
Motion to recommend the change order for Rutledge Excavating for $194,198.50.
Motion. Begrudgingly.
Discussion,
Second.
no,
all in favor?
no.
No, what? You're
No.
voting no?
I'm voting no, but, huh?
Did I have a second, Jason?
I did, I second.
Why? It has to be done.
All right, so it's 3-1.
It's fine.
For Rutledge,
Yes.
Be done.
Yeah, but
It should be
Uh,
done 15 years ago.
Motion to recommend the
they can get some close out of it.
contract for Otis, the proposal for Otis to update the 4 elevators at the South High School and JM Hill for $30,000, 404.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion,
I just don't understand why we have to do that if they've been maintained over the years, why, but if it has to be done, it has to be done, but. I still don't understand that, I was gonna ask that,
I
like,
see fire hazard on
Isn't
here.
this part of the maintenance though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the parts are now
but it
operating.
makes them out for service, they're telling us now?
Yeah, it's preventative maintenance.
Yeah,
Uh,
sound is, there's different, with elevator inspection, there's different, like, kind of like your fire suppression, there's.
Yeah.
1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year.
Oh, so
So this
it
is now
wasn't,
they,
it should have been,
it's not that it wasn't, it's
No,
now
it
they're
needs to
looking
be
at it
done.
and saying it's obsolete. We had one fail on us, I think about 1.5 years ago, I can't remember what building, I can get that for you, that we had to replace it on the spot. So it'll be up and running, so this is kind of like preventive
alright,
maintenance.
we're being, okay.
It's a good thing.
No, it is, but what I'm saying is if they're inspected regularly, they're maintained regularly, why are we getting this now? It's like,
No, that's
it's almost like they needed to do something to try, it just seems like. How long was, I don't know, something about Otis that scares me a little bit, because
the other,
Well, he must-
we already have it. I mean,
you didn't go through the summer of no elevator, man.
Yeah.
I don't know of another elevator company, so.
No.
Well, unfortunately, there are no elevators, but we put Otis in, there are a lot of, there are other companies out there. But we went with Otis, because that's probably the state bid.
Remember, I did.
Very good brand.
So did we act on this motion?
We did not vote on it yet.
Yeah, I'll vote, I say all in favor.
Aye.
all right,
You just took over.
It's whatever.
4-0.
I vote yes.
Motion to adjourn,
Motion.
So moved.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Take it out there. Take it out there.
Are we offline?